Hello. I'm gonna play a song and then we're gonna get right into it. The streets cold and dark, Ginger walks almost by. Silent whispers, dangerous hue, hidden paths unknown to you. Moonlight breaks through the haze, shadows dance in twisted maze. Eyes lurking in the night, Ginger's heart beats with fright. Into the shadows we shall roam, never knowing what's our home. Haunting echoes all around, in the darkness, truth is found. Neon lights flicker and die, Ginger stares with questioning eyes. Broken souls in alleys creep, in the mystery secrets they keep. Feel the chill, thrill it brings, fear and hope like puppet string. Lost in thoughts, lost in time, trust in Ginger's sudden rhyme. Into the shadows we shall roam, never knowing what's our home. Haunting echoes all around, in the darkness, truth is found. Into the shadows we shall roam, never knowing what's our home. Haunting echoes all around, in the darkness, truth is found. Truth is found. Him. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Emmy. What up, brother? What up, brother? Anyway, tonight's topic, or today, where we are, it depends. Um, it's going to be a little bit deep and a little bit different. Um, I'm going to talk about Anton LaVey. Does anybody know who Anton LaVey is? I'll give you a few seconds. A lot of us do. Especially us older people that grew up or, were around for satanic panic and all that. Oh, you don't know who Anton LaVey is? Well, have you heard of the Church of Satan or the Satanic Bible? Yikes, right? Eh? Yeah. So, Anton LaVey was quite a character. Um, Quite a character. I'm gonna have to. A disclaimer: I do not claim any affiliation or common beliefs as the Church of Satan that we're just gonna discuss. I do plan to cover many religions and many cults here and there because that's part of my, I don't know, curiosity. You may know him like here. I will pull up some photos. How's that? That will help. I could pull up some photos of them. You know him? That'd be interesting. That is Anton LaVey. You might have seen him on different places or, and like talk shows in the early 80s. Hey, Toxie, how's it going, girl? Oh, yeah, it is fascinating, Toxie. It is fascinating. You know, I'm sure everybody, okay, he was in movies too, like in Rosemary's Baby. He was in that. I think that 1968. This is one of his more famous pictures. Yeah, pretty interesting. This guy is quite the figure. Hey, Marie. If you know him from that, good luck to you, buddy. uh, Good luck to you. Okay, we're going to start talking about him. Okay. Anton LaVey was born Howard Stanton LaVey, April 11th, 1930, okay, in Chicago, Illinois. Um, I'm not going to get into his parents and all that, but he had he grew, in his younger years, he grew up in Chicago in like, an Eastern European type of, um, let's say, neighborhood. Hey, what up, Charlie Brown? Oh, disruptive comments. Yeah, let's stay on topic, okay? I mean, everybody is. They say hi here and there, which is cool. Anyway, so his family moved to California and the San Francisco area. And uh, that's where he went to high school and, you know, he dropped out. Um, he started out early as a musician, and his parents encouraged it because he had really a lot of musical talent, and he played several instruments growing up. He favored keyboards like organ, piano, um, calliope, which is an interest. Even the accordion. I mean, yes, calliope is named after a great goddess. Thank you. One of those nuggets of knowledge, right? Nuggets knowledge. Oh, she is the goddess of music. I forgot that. You were, I love you, you smart little person. Okay. Anyway, he played several instruments, but he favored like keyboards and stuff, right? He also played the oboe. Oh, Marie's fine, Charlie. Marie's awesome. These people aren't disruptive. They're really good people. Really good friends of mine. He played the oboe in high school, and then he left high school at 16. I mean, a lot of this came from his autobiography. Um, so it's his own claims. And he said he joined the Clyde Beatty Circus, then later a couple carnivals here and there. Oh, Nug is smart. She is very smart. Where he was a cage boy or lion tamer, right? Um, and then he played the calliope there, you know, the music for the circus and then these carnivals. Uh, and he said during that time he saw the same men going to the girly shows, the body shows, like where they showed the strippers and stuff and the tents and everything, as he would see going to the tent revival. Um, and that kind of made him think, that's hypocritical, church going, like. But these are just his claims. Okay. These are his claims. So in 1948, when he was 18 years old, he started playing gigs as an organist at bars and clubs in LA, where he also claimed, yeah, those shows are crazy. They've been put. Um, he started playing these gigs around LA, and he claimed that during that time, he met Marilyn Monroe before she became like really famous, uh, dancing in one of these review type of things, one of these kind of clubs, um, kind of doing a Gypsy Lee or Gypsy Rose situation, like it's a
Gypsy Rose is Stockholm.
no, no. Gypsy Rose uh, was the original Gypsy Rose was a dancer, a feather dancer back in the 20s in Paris, and anyway, where he claims he met Marilyn Monroe and like had a 2-week fling with her. Like, who knows if it's true? That's his claim. In 1950, LaVey moved back to San Francisco. Okay. Uh, he then meets his first wife, Carol Lansing, and she was like 15. And they marry in 1951. And they have their first daughter. They have his first daughter, Carla, in 1952. Okay. And she later on is involved in the church. Uh, okay, here we go. And then, to dodge the Korean War draft, he studied criminology at the City College of San Francisco. These are things I didn't know. It's crazy is that no matter what you believe or follow, there will always be some kind of support for that, which is crazy. True, true. Especially when it comes to this type of religion, right? And after studying criminology, he started doing like taking photos and doing, like forensic photos. And he was offered a position with the police force, okay? And he worked as a crime scene photographer for at least 3 years straight, right? Which these are all things nobody would even, think of when they think of this guy, right? Um, he also claims that, or he claimed, since he's no longer alive, he claimed that they also filtered certain 800 calls. Those or police calls to him that were for odd and paranormal type of things, like um, just the odd things that people would call in for, and they dumped that on him. Um, during that period, he became friends with many uh, writers for Weird Tales, okay, which was a publication, I believe, like George Haas, Clark Ashton Smith, Robert Barbo Johnson, and many others. Oh, he was out there, Art. He was out there. In 1960, LaVey starts an affair with this Diane Haggerty, thus leading to his divorce from Carol, his wife. Diane and LaVey never married. They were like common law because they were together for 24 years. Okay. And during that time, it's like, it wasn't like he didn't have other, outside relationships, because it was a hedonistic kind of lifestyle that he led. Yeah. Very bohemian. But he was with Carol till 1984. And, when they split, she sued him for palimony. But they had a daughter, which would be his second daughter, Zena, in 1963. And she plays a very public, pivotal role in that whole church and um, in dealing with the father and his legacy. Uh, he really became a local celebrity because he was such a out there type of personality. He was like a showman, in your face kind of person. Um, as you could tell if you remember some of his appearances in the 80s, right? With the little devil horn, pictures. He was an oddball, yeah. Uh, he was known for paranormal research and live musical performances, playing the organ uh, and the Wurlitzer at Lost Weekend Cocktail Lounge. Yep, a lot of common law is marriage, right? Especially 24 years, that would be, a common law wife. Uh, yeah, and also he drove around in a coroner's van, of all things. So, that's enough to garner a lot of attention in the early 60s, right? Um, and he walked around with, believe it or not, he had a black leopard named Zoltan at that time, right? Later on, he got a lion instead, but uh, he was very odd and eccentric. Very. He attracted many San Francisco notables, and people just found him fascinating and interesting. Like he had a certain charisma. You know, um, and he'd have these parties at what they dubbed the Black House. He painted his house black, and it was like I could probably show you what it just it was a black kind of Victorian house in San Francisco. He'd have these parties, and from that, he ended up forming a group he called the Order of the Trapezoid, which later became the governing body of the Church of Satan. Oh, yeah. the church then it merged religion, philosophy, psychology, science, mythology, uh, and fringe beliefs. What the core belief was basically that was more atheist than anything. You know, they just believed in living for the now, doing what they wanted, um, not adhering to any other religions or just breaking ties with anything that was restrictive, being free and using your free will, and that was their kind of belief. It was and at one point they didn't even believe in a god or a Satan per se. It was, they just believed that, freedom. They did believe in laws. That's where I'm going to get into it because he worked for the police department. This guy, believe it or not, it's insane. Um, he was big on the First and Second Amendment. He carried guns, man. Um, he always carried a firearm. Oop, a pew pew. Um, he was very into the police, pro police. Um, yeah, it was. Yeah, it's more like bohemian type of belief. I'm tired. Anyway, all these people have some type of charisma. Yes, they do. That's why many people are drawn to cult leaders. Also, they are good with their words. Yes, it is freaky. It is freaky. Anyway, um, onward to this. Oh yeah, so it was like their fringe beliefs were indulgence and desires. Okay, and okay, at that point, LaVey then started presenting. no, no, as long as it's adjacent to it, that's great. Um, it all kind of spins off, doesn't it? Um, he started presenting like Friday night lectures on rituals and the occult. Okay, and he did this for a while. Then on April 30th, 1966, this is when things start coming. They start uh, like it gets the ball rolling, and that's where the church starts developing. Um, 19 like April 30th, 1966, he ritualistically shaves his head like ancient executioners used to, right? Um, and declares the founding of the Church of Satan. Never heard of him. Yeah, he's an interesting character, and I'm trying to get like it's kind of a dark, weird, interesting character to kind of as we get closer to October. Yeah, there are videos on him. He's a fascinating character. Fascinating. He starts presenting these lectures on rituals and occult. Okay. Um, he founds the church and proclaims that 1966 is year one. Uh, Anno Satanus, the first year of the age of Satan. And he also he's so strange. He sleeps in a coffin, and he just mocks the church, the modern church. Is what he does. Um, so he's basically mocking the church and everything else. Then it starts heating up. 1990s, 1990, 1967 is when he performs the first satanic wedding between journalist John Raymond and a New York socialite named Judith Case. Okay. It is covered by Life magazine, the San Francisco Chronicle, and several other news outlets. I mean, it's a big shock value. Thanks, Betty. I'm glad. It's a huge shock value, and I was always curious how this person started out, and how he developed his beliefs and stuff. That's interesting too. Um, and then the next thing he does, I mean, that's February. In May 23rd. Oh, you're fine. You're still good, Marie. It's good. May 23rd, 1967, he performs the first satanic baptism of his 3-year-old daughter, Zena. Okay? 3-year old. 3-year old baptism. And I just. Mm. And it was a happy event, whereas most people, like when a baptism kind of freaks a little kid out, or let's dunk them underwater, or a christening where they're sprinkling water on them. It kind of sometimes can traumatize. I'm not saying it will, but there's likelihood of it. You just dunk somebody. I have one of my kids that, oh my gosh, I had to be real careful about her head getting wet. I had to soothe her and everything, because she just did not like, you know, we had to be real careful, trickle, trickle on her head to wash her hair or anything. Yeah, that is creepy, a 3-year old. And you think it's real hedonistic, but basically it was give her candy and lollipops and gum, and make it'd be like a birthday party. You know what I mean? Um, he wanted it to be a fun event, but still he was dedicating her to Satan. Yet he didn't believe in Satan. That's where we'll get into that later. It's really interesting. It was joking. It was kind of a farce type of thing that went a little far, I think. But he did get into ritualistic black magic and stuff. We'll get into that. But that got worldwide coverage, and he was dubbed by people and himself, calling himself the Black Pope. Okay, the Black Pope. Yeah, that didn't go over too well with the Catholic Church, right? Then the next thing, and I think this was either the following year or later in the same year, in 67, or could have been 68. Uh, a Navy man dies, and his widow contacts LaVey and asks him to officiate a satanic funeral. Okay? A satanic funeral. And he agrees to it, and they have all these events at what is dubbed the Black House, his home in San Francisco, which he also held the meetings for, you know, yeah, or his lectures and stuff, which many people attended. Uh, and many people you wouldn't even think of joined this church. Okay. Um. Anyway, Navy officers and you know shipmen and everything else show up, and they have a band and all. Right. They make kind of a celebration of life kind of situation. And because of the national coverage that this gets, and it does get a lot of some other countries were covering it too. Um, that ends up in them adding Satanism as a religion in the Navy's chaplain's handbook. So when they get the dog tags done, they can claim they're Satanists. It's I mean, wait, quick, right? This religion came up fast. Um, then check this out. This is another thing that puts him on the map because he's getting all sorts of coverage, nationwide coverage over all this, and he's getting so much coverage over it that um, on the 7th anniversary of Johnny Carson's Tonight Show, LaVey comes on and does a satanic blessing. Okay, so that gets him national coverage, right? At during this time, during this time, he's doing. I mean, and this is strange ways to make money. Strange ways to make money. I'll give you that. He is touring nightclubs in North Beach and all around the California area, right? He puts together what's called a topless witches review, right? Um, where he has topless women coming out of coffins, like a girly show, right? Oh, yeah. And one of those girls is a struggling actress LaVey claimed was a pain in his ass, okay? And a diva. And at the time, her name was Susan King. Later, she would be known as Susan Atkins of the Manson family, the one that killed Sharon Tate. Interesting, huh? Whew. I mean, she's involved in the. I mean, she's involved in the Church of Satan. Susan Atkins was at the time. Briefly, before meeting Manson and moving from San Francisco with him to LA. Another interesting thing, one of the victims of the murder, the unalivings or whatever, on CeeLo Drive, um, the Tate situation was, oh yeah, interesting, isn't it? Yeah, it goes deep. It goes deep. One of the other victims besides Tate, there's so many like connections here. One of the other victims was Jay Sebring, right? Was also a member of the Church of Satan. Okay? The owners of the house the murders occurred in were members of the Church of Satan. And, you know, friendly with LaVey. You're about to go down another rabbit hole? I'm telling you, it is phenomenal how many directions this character, you know, all these it's I mean, I could go into it really well, but oh, um here's another thing. There's a couple movies, okay, besides uh Rosemary's Baby, which LaVey played the devil in that one, right? Polanski was the director, right? Sharon Tate was in that. Okay. There's another connection. There was another movie called The Dance of the Vampire or Dance of the Vampires that Polanski directed that he put Tate in, and Susan Atkins was in that too as a vampire. Bit part, but yeah, insane, right? He was a film consultant on Rosemary's Baby. And Sharon Tate was in that as an extra in a party scene or something. And that was shot at the Dakota in New York, right? It's so many directions with this, right? Okay, buckle up because we're going in deeper. We're going in deeper, right? LaVey in the 66, 67 has a relationship with none other than Jane Mansfield. Okay, who at the same time she's also having an affair with her lawyer, Brody. And Brody becomes like really jealous, and she's trying to live this free kind of life, be with who wants, hedonistic, be with who she wants to be with, and all that. And Brody starts getting really possessive and jealous, and uh, basically not wanting to share her, and she wants to live that free lifestyle. And uh, she goes to LaVey and asks him to put a spell or curse on Brody, okay? To rid herself of Brody because he's annoying the hell out of her. He's uh, just creeping her out, right? And LaVey, he acquiesces to it and does some mumbo jumbo, right? And a week after he does that, Brody crashes his Mercedes. Then shortly after that, he crashes another car and breaks various bones. Um, LaVey then warns uh, warns Mansfield to kind of try to stay away from Brody as much as possible because something bad was going to happen. And she ends up, you know, uh, she ends up in a car with him when she's doing a burlesque kind of tour in Louisiana. And he's driving the car. I mean, he's already crashed two cars. Why get in the third, right? Hey, Brianna, good to see you, sweetheart. Why get into the third car? Get in this vehicle with this guy. Let him drive. He's already crashed two cars, right? Yeah. He ends up crashing this one into the back of a sprayer truck. Like one of those, it was misting for mosquitoes because it was like in June in Louisiana, swampy outside of New Orleans. Hits the back of the mosquito truck, decapitates Mansfield, kills him on impact. Thankfully, the kids in the back did not get hurt. I mean, they survived. And when LaVey was informed of this, he was pretty distraught about it. I mean, pretty distraught. And that did happen in 1967. in 1969 is when he publishes the Satanic Bible. And they get 10K, 10,000 official members, and then they give them red cards for their membership. And that's where it gets really cool. I mean, I don't know. Oh, what I did forget to tell you, and this is interesting. After his Tonight Show appearance, right? Uh, he ended up gaining a few influential members into the Church of Satan, and one being, you're gonna be shocked, and it was short. It wasn't that long. Sammy Davis Jr. He was a member for a short period of time.
Remember to stay on topic, Tom.
I am on topic.
No, I'm just saying, remember to stay on topic. Don't get mad at me.
Okay. Oh, and we're only up to 1969, right? Almost got 20 more years to cover. Yeah, Sammy Davis Jr. Insane, right? Let me go ahead and show you the pictures again. Of what he looks like. Yeah, here we go. Covering the Mansfield angle. Like that. And it being, yeah, and it being a positive experience. Yep. That is a picture of the baptism for his daughter. That's another picture of him and Jane Mansfield. There are several pictures of him and Jane Mansfield. Here's somebody else who's pictured with him. Oh, goodness. I mean, there are tons of pictures of him and Jane Mansfield, though. Yep, Donahue. I remember him on Donahue. Yep. Believe that might be. That, I believe, is um yeah, that's him older. I mean, I tell you what, here's a picture of his daughter. His daughter is that's his second daughter, Xena. This guy is intriguing. Yeah, that hair is iconic. Oh, it's scary as like now I can't look at after seeing all these pictures, I can't look at my husband the same because he like shaves his head and has a goatee. So I'm like, okay. So after the Satanic Bible, he was like I said before, right? He was avid First and Second Amendment, um, pro police, gun owner. He was also against drug use. Okay, these are for somebody who believed in like living a hedonistic type of lifestyle or do what you want kind of lifestyle. He didn't like hippies or counterculture. Um, he didn't like rock. He didn't like jazz. Um, especially for somebody who was a musician, right? He didn't like any of that. He was into the 30s and 40s music, big band, all that, right? Okay. He even publicly cast like a curse on counterculture hippies and all that. Yeah, you know, he kept a lion in his house for years. Yep, he just started it up himself, kind of like L. Ron Hubbard, right? How do most cults and religions start, right? Um, Now, here's a little thing about the church. It's 5 degrees, and they call it the fifth degree is magus, right? A maggot. Instead of the 3 degrees you have in Freemasons. So, I think they take a little here, take a little there, and make this, right? And they were considered basically libertarians, okay? In 1972, he starts writing articles for the magazine. They have a published magazine for a short period of time back in the early 70s. Yep. And it was called The Cloven Hoof was the name of the magazine. And he pretty much closes up the house at that time to the instead of having all because he'd become so big he didn't need everybody and their dog coming in for these meetings and stuff like that, and they would hold them in other places. They would hold the rituals and meetings at other places then. uh, and then he started recording music at that point on his calliope, like calliope music. Okay. And he was into like old films. We were talking Bogart and uh, Jimmy Stewart, or uh, Clark Gable type of movies. So um, he was into older films and horror movies, like the monster movies, right? The Wolfman, vampire movies. Um, he was into that kind of thing. He was really into the noir. Um, in 1975, okay, this is where it gets deep. Only a matter of time before someone here declares a new religion. Yeah, we have enough cult leaders. Yes, we do. Social media does. That's for sure. But in 1975, Michael Aquino, the editor of the Church of Satan's newsletter, right, left the church and started his own church, like a splinter church that they called, and I think it's still around, I'm not sure, the Temple of Set. Okay? Taking with him at the time several other church members with him. Okay? And there's a reason behind that. Because they thought, like a lot of them were getting disappointed in him, that he was more of a showman, more of kind of a attention whore. He was over the top, right? Um, that it didn't fit with what they believed it should fit with. Like you should just live your life and they didn't feel like he was a great leader, I guess. And after that, the defection, what's interesting is in 1990, his own daughter, Xena, would renounce LaVey Satanism, which was his church or his order, right? After being a high priestess in the Church of Satan for 5 years, she would renounce those beliefs. She did no longer believed in those inner, what was going on. She became disillusioned with her own father and how things were going with him as leader, right? And then she eventually, I think in the late 90s or whatever, she joined the Temple of Set, that same splinter group that left her dad in 75. She joins it and becomes a high priestess for them in 2002. Uh, I don't know if the Temple of Set is still around, but the Church of Satan is. I think the Temple of Set may have folded, but don't quote me on that. Um, and after her becoming a high priest, she left them where she formed the Sethian liberation movement later that year. She figured that her father was too theatrical and too hypocritical. Okay, this is where it's really weird. His daughter Xena, right? I mean, it's gonna throw us back a few. We have, yeah. Can you imagine? There's several of them, Toxie. I've been checking them out. There's several of these cults all over the place. Um, some are underground for real. Um, uh, in 1978, Xena has Stanton Zaharath LaVey. Okay, in 1978, it was January 18th, 1978. She has Stanton, right? She was got pregnant at 13, had him at 14. Imagine that. I heard that there was a conspiracy of Xena being Taylor Swift. Or I also heard that she was Taylor Swift's real mother. I mean, there's a lot of them. I've heard them. Yep. That, yeah. If you look at his daughter, yeah, there's a lot of resemblance, but by staring up, I believe, right? Yes, yes. So Stanton is born in 1978. Okay, and he essentially grows up, and he's a dead ringer for Anton. Okay, I don't. Supposedly, he was fathered by a guy in a band that was with a who was affiliated with the Church of Satan. Um, now we're up to 1980. Okay, this is this is so crazy, guys. Listen to this. In 1980, LaVey is implicated in an assassination attempt slash plot against Ted Kennedy and was questioned by the FBI and cleared, but still, he was implicated by somebody And he was like, oh, that's just crazy because at that time that he was implicated, there was a presidential race going on, right? And that was Ted was going up against Carter for the nomination, and Carter was the incumbent, right? And he was going up against Carter for the uh, ticket to be on the ticket for the Democratic Party. And LaVey said, nope, nope, I wouldn't do that. I can't stand Carter, but I do love me some Ted Kennedy, you know? But they looked into it. The source was crazy. The source was just not um, credible because the guy was coked up and none. There was no way to connect LeVay to it. You know. Yes, yes. Ted Kennedy was the one who, you know, I think it was his secretary that he was, having an affair with in the 70s, and the Chappaquiddick, where he ran off the road into the water and she passed away. Yeah. A lot of people are connected to each other. It's interesting and bizarre, isn't it? Just all the little, yeah, tidbits here. And these are just part of the connections, right? These are just some of them. Yeah. Bliss. Hey, sweetheart. Um, okay. LeBay didn't like, goth posers and the weirdo, uh, the kids that got into it and blah, 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 right? He was very picky. He was picky. He felt that his church should have elite members of society, the upper echelons. The upper echelons of society should be, in his church, not these jobless kids and, wannabes, basically. So he basically withdrew at that point from the public. And that was, you know, in the early 80s, okay? But here's the thing. When the satanic panic happened, okay, which was 84 to 1990 is how long that case drug out. Hey, Nab, good to see you, sweetheart. That's right. Um, when satanic panic, the trials of the preschool and all that, yeah, right. He would be like, if he was on the internet back, he would have been viral all the time. I think because he's such a character, right? Um, during that, his uh, there was a lot of publicity that started happening where I think he did Donahue during that time, but that was it, right? Um, and his daughter called him. His daughter, Zena, and it's like, "What are you going to do about this, Dad? We got to get on top of this. This is going to drag the church down." Um, and he's he's like, whatever. I don't. He just didn't want to be bothered with it, right? He just could not be bothered with it. He didn't want to do any more public appearances. He just wanted to live his life with, you know, by then he was going through some stuff, like, you know, but there's there's been a lot of I've been trying to dig into this. There's he also had a third daughter, but and her name was Ray Ray. I couldn't find the birth date on her or anything yet. I just didn't have the time. But he had it, Ray Ray, and she basically ran off in 1997. She was a teenager by then, so she was born by another woman other than his partner at the time, and they were grooming her in the church. I mean, and she just like escaped. She ended up getting like adopted by another family, and so they kind of brushed her under the rug, her existence under the rug, right? Um, but in 1984, his common law wife, whatever, Diane, had an RO put out against him. He didn't contest it or anything, and he just moved on to Blanche Barton, who was his last partner, his last, uh, I guess, whatever. Um, and they had, she ended up giving birth to his son. Now, check this name out: Satan Xerxes Karnacki LaVey. And the crazy part is, the kid was born on All Saints Day, which is November 1st. Imagine that. A Satanist child is born on All Saints Day, the day after Halloween. Hmm, wacky, right? That's ironic. Oh, so ironic. But and then I mean there was a whole bunch of scandal, things going on with supposedly he was involved in teaching people remote viewing, uh that program way back, because he did a lot of astral projection, you know, meditation. It's like, but anyway, LeBay actually passed away October 29th, 1997, due to pulmonary edema. Okay. Despite rumors of his death occurring on Halloween that year. And that is pretty much the history of Anton LaVey. How long was Satanic Panic? Well, at least from 1984 to 1990. And his daughter was really involved in touring and writing all sorts of articles. And yeah, I wasn't familiar with it until I watched the West Memphis 3 documentary. I assumed it was a short stint in the 90s. It was Satanic Panic during the trial, um, the preschool trial, was 84 to 1990, but it had started dying down a little when the West Memphis 3 happened. But yeah, that was that was towards the tail end. Um, I'm like, or it flared it back up. You know what I mean? We only got to when I was born. How did he get away with this so long? Because he wasn't really doing anything illegal. Technically, he wasn't. He, you know, guy wasn't into breaking the law. He was just wanted to do whatever. He did follow the law. Yes. What happened is his oldest daughter, Carla, was supposed to be, when he passed away, she was supposed to be named the high priestess or the leader of the church. But instead, one of the members, some of the members of, what was it, the Order of the Trapezoid, whatever, the church officials sided with Carl, or with not with his daughter Carla, because mind you, Xena had already left the church in 1990, and his death occurred in 97, and Carlos still with the church. His son Xerxes was only 4, um, but basically his girlfriend or his companion, life partner, whatever, um, Blanche, was named high priestess and leader of the church for a time period. And she has since then stepped down, and there's another church leader who moved the church from San Francisco base to like New York or Poughkeepsie, whatever. Yeah. So it went from the West Coast to the East Coast. Um, and there was actually, from what I understand, there was actually a battle over rights to things, and uh, which his other kids didn't get involved in. Just his oldest daughter, Carla, um, she basically, they went to court over this because his life partner, or his partner, was claiming everything, like everything. Nothing was going to go to his other kids except for her son. I think I heard of LaVey in the 80s, like he did Donahue, he did. Uh, he, he was a creepy figure that I had heard of in the 80s, early 80s, because of the Satanic Bible or whatever, and I'm like, huh? You know? Okay. The cult did make money, or the church did make money, but most of his money he got from his. Sorry. Most of his money he got from sales of the Bible, his Bible. You know, uh, the church wasn't set up so much for donations and stuff like that. It was like you pay this much a year for membership, like, and it started out at $2 a year. Now it's $200 a year at this point to be a member, and that's it. There's not a whole bunch of tithings. There's not a whole bunch of stuff like that. Um, they didn't base it on monetary gain, but if you wanted to donate, you could. You weren't pressured to, which is different. Most of his money was made personally from um, his appearances, his consultations. He was in different movies. Oh, actually, here I'll give you a list of movies. Rosemary's Baby. Uh, that was in 1968. Invocation of My Demon Brother in 1969. Uh, Satanist, The Devil's Mass in 1970. And The Devil's Reign in 1975. And then Death Scenes in 1989. Speak of the Devil, The Canon of Anton LaVey in 1993. Um, Iconoclast, and this is post death in 2010, and American Satan in 2019. Uh, Yeah, yeah, money from his subscribers. Yeah, basically from his members, his church members. I think that went into a church fund, but I think most of the money he made from appearances and from like um books. Like that Satanic Bible probably got him millions. Um yeah, so he wrote that in 1969. He wrote The Satanic Rituals in 1972. He released The Satanic Witch in 1989. The Devil's Notebook in 1992. Satan Speaks came out after he passed away, but he'd already written it in 1998. And then The Devil's Letters came out in 2010. But that would be um, his partner that helped put that out. And I guess she became a writer, and she wrote a lot of stuff too. Carla, not Carla, Blanche. So there was a ton put out. Look, I mean, so he made a lot of money off his writings, and he probably got paid for appearances. I was on TikTok one day and was scrolling and saw a person who worshipped Satan called True Devil Worship. I saw for a second, but then felt uncomfortable, right? Mm-hmm. Same here. The titles, yep. I would have clutched my pearls when I was a kid. But there was like I said, like a court battle over his estate, and they ended up splitting it. And I think Carla may have left the church when that happened. I mean, it came out that the kids ended up, all his offspring except for Ray ended up um, uh, getting part of his estate. But that's only because she had basically emancipated or been adopted by someone else by that point. And and the other one anywhere. Yeah, skip over 665 to 667. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, any questions? I'm going to open it up to questions on this fascinating topic. I do not know exactly who has rights to what or how the division of assets happened, but I do know that his oldest would have been, oh my gosh, in her 40s, and his youngest child would have been 4. You know? That's crazy because if you think of it, his oldest sister, like Cersei, the youngest, his oldest sister would have been old enough to be his grandmother. That's quite an age difference, right? Right? And all the connections kind of the interweaving connections, right? I mean, there are so many just it goes like spreads out, right? It spreads out like um all the people that were connected with that church, the people that were connected to him. Um it's scary. All these people connected, and it's like all sorts of Hollywood people, and it makes you wonder. eh, Yeah, if what's going on now has anything to do with what went on then. You know what I mean? If it wasn't, it was so well accepted and received. You know what I mean? By celebs. They ate this guy up. They ate it up. Oh, yeah. He has offspring, honey. He has grandkids. I think he even had, his grandson Stanton. Hold on, I'll look it up. If you want to see a picture of his grandson Stanton, I know it's like when I come on YouTube, I'm not really religious and I'm not Catholic, but I do the Catholic thing, like just in case. Gonna do the cross. But I will show you. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. I still knock on wood, do all that stuff. Oh yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah, but I tell you what. Yeah. Now that's his daughter. Okay, that's his daughter. Oh, there's Cersei with Joe Rogan. Interesting, right? Cersei and Joe Rogan, and Cersei is the son, but huh? Okay, looking at him, that's what Anton looks like. Oh, that's what he looked like when he was a kid. Hmm. As a musician. Let's see. I'm just clicking on everything here. Just clicking on everything. Well, now how many pictures of Stanton right here? Let's look him up. Let's look up. This is his grandson. Well, it's more pictures of him. There we go. That's Stanton. That's his grandson. Insane. Look at those eyebrows. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? I mean, and that's his grandson. Yeah, heavy metal violin. Okay. His grandson Stanton um, ended up in some controversy too. He ended up getting married, and he got really heavy into meth, and ended up him and his wife ended up kidnapping a woman and holding her hostage for a while, or holding her um, against her will, and he ended up in trouble for that. But they talked about how he would sell like items from the church on eBay for money or on social media for money. I think they said Stanton, his grandson, ended up passing away in 2022. And he was really close to both. Stanton was close to his grandmother, Diane. It's the other thing, if you look at all these pictures, I don't, I can't tell you because I can't click on that. But it is led by somebody else, yeah, for sure. I just didn't like. At that point, I was like, "Hey, oh my god!" After all the other stuff I delved into, I was like, "Whoo, brain explode!" You know what I'm saying? Brain explode. Insane. Um, it might be. I don't know. I thought it was a. I thought it was a guy. Something I can't remember. Might be now. Who knows? It's about time for later a change of leadership because his partner took it over for like she wasn't the leader for long because she spent most of her time writing books and raising her son. Well, if you Googled it, you might be right, Marie. If you Googled who's the leader of the, it would be the, um, because there's so many different satanic churches now, it would be the original Church of Satan. So it would be uh, what they call LaVeyan Satanism. Who's the leader of LaVeyan Satanism? I told you guys this would be a neat rabbit hole to go down, didn't I? Okay. Well, then you're probably right, girlfriend. Yep, you are probably right. See? Yeah, there's several of them. There's splinter groups off of it. You know what I'm saying? Splinter groups. No, you're not asking too much. That's what the whole thing is. This is a discussion. You're fine. If I know it, I admit it. If I don't, I'm like, yeah, let's figure it out. One of us can pop up with it. That's why it's an open forum. It's an open discussion. I don't think I know any more than anybody else. I love it and I love it when you participate. I love it, Marie. I love it when everybody participates and they're like, "Ooh, I'm curious about this. I'll find this," and you look it up and you're like, "Hey," you know, because like I said, there was so much that I know that I missed a few bits here and there. It's just what did I miss, right? What did I miss? There was so much going on with that, right? I love Marie's accent. I can understand her just fine. Oh, there's more of these cult. Oh, more and more. Right? But isn't that fun, Toxie? When you run a live, when you run a channel, you want that. I mean, you want that interaction. You want that engagement. You want people to look into things. You want them to find things that you didn't find, right? That's why it's an open discussion. It's open opinions and oh, I have you going down all the rabbit holes, don't I, Blissful? Yep. Which reminds me, I gotta write that down. I mean, I'm not gonna do it right away. I have other ideas, but I gotta write this down because I talked about it last week about Bohemian Grove. Oh, some of this is so dark and twisted, but hey, it's kind of my macabre thing, right? Here's my cult leader now telling me off. Oh, no, I love you. I'd make a horrible cult leader. I'm too nice. I was going down rabbit hole. Like, it wasn't already enough for me. Oh, honey, I followed, I'm telling you, I have followed the Diddy situation since the nightclub incident with J-Lo, right? I started digging then, and then every so often. That one time I had a whole timeline of his, of the Diddy situation. We're gonna have to get whiteboards and charts and right? Oh, that's right. You're right. She was accused of being our cult leader, huh? Right? Which is funny because, of all people, Toxie being a cult leader. Yeah, okay. She's even nicer than me. What's she gonna do? Yeah, it's harmless. It's but this was. I'm telling you, like I said, there might be a few things I missed. Feel free to dig in, and or if you know something and you're watching on replay or whatever, and you have questions or you have answers, you have a bit of information that we didn't cover here. Please put it in the comments. I love feedback. I love to learn things. We all love to learn things here. That's why it's out of the shadows. We're shining the light. That's my whole purpose for the name. Yeah, our cult leader. Have him as cult leader. Are you going live here pretty soon, Tox? Are you going live tonight? Because I mean, I think you usually go at 6. I wouldn't want to. Oh yeah, Bohemian Grub research shook out some memories, right? Like the Paul Bonacci. Ooh, that angle, that runs deep. Paul Bonacci. Oh right, Toxie. Ooh, that is a fascinating character. Fascinating character, isn't he? Oh yeah, it's a must to research. And the first time I ever heard of Bohemian Grove, believe it or not, a lot of people didn't hear of it until the internet stuff until recently. But I heard of Bohemian Grove in 1989. Yeah. Of course. Family, man. That's right. What they don't know is I'm the real figurehead and Toxie is my I'm the genius behind it. Toxie is the figurehead. I'm a puppet master. Oh yeah. See, I heard of Bohemian Grove before that because Alex Jones filmed that in 1999 or 2000. It came out in 2000 or something like that. And I'd already heard of it 11 years before that. But I didn't know the depth of Bohemian Grove. You know what I mean? I didn't know everything that went on, or some of the things that went on there. I mean, I had heard through the Bonacci story some, but I didn't know about the all the rituals. I had heard of some of the smaller rituals that happened there. Oh, but I think I may take off tomorrow to spend the evening with family. Hey, oh, well, you should fire one up. Toxie, fire it up, baby. Lead us, fearless leader. No, we shall not duel, right? Yeah, go live. I'm not tired yet. This conversation should continue, right? No kidding. All right. I know it is. It was fascinating. See, and that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to do the things that fascinate me and I'm going to share it with my friends. That's what I'm doing. I'm sharing this with my friends. Now, if you guys, any of you guys want to dig deeper and you know, take off with this and continue this, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because I'm just fascinated and interested. You know what I mean? I mean, uh, that could be our cult, the knowledge cult. Finding out oddities. You know what? So, do diddy, do diddy. Oh, oh, do diddy. It's an awesome conversation because this is what I was going to get into. These smaller churches, well, this isn't so much, it's worldwide. The Church of Satan's worldwide because of the Satanic Bible. Um, but I'm going to start covering other things. That's one other thing I was going to tell you. Now, it's been going around about Anton LaVey and Jack Parsons, is it? Or Parsons? Anyway, anyway, and L. Ron Hubbard and H.P. Lovecraft having a conversation, making a bet on a religion. Who could start a religion? Okay, that's interesting. The people that kind of orbit around each other, that he actually was connected to L. Ron Hubbard of Scientology. And I don't know if that's true because it came from LaVey. Yeah, I love learning new things too, right? I get, if I'm like, some of these rabbit holes, some of these things fascinate me. Um, Shoot, who knows? Maybe I'll get into it again at another juncture. Um, as in the West Memphis Three and that connection, or let's connect the dots between different things. Maybe that's what rabbit holes will go down, you know. But for the month of October, I'm going to try to cover spooky stuff and do a spookapalooza. That's what I call it, a spookapalooza.
Hey, Spooky Man!
I got to take one for the team. Yow. I went to a church that everyone had to hug the person next to them and I love people, but that was a bit too much for me. I felt creepy. Yeah, right? There's always so much to learn. And knowledge. Knowledge. Thanks you, Toxie. See, it's great when I don't have any drama, right? Which you notice I kind of got rid of. I wiped it from my channel, which you know what took away over 600, 700 of my watch hours, but I don't care as long as it's not on my channel. This is the kind of content I've always enjoyed doing, but I'm going to go into other cults, other religions. I mean, it'd be so obvious to go down the road with something like Jonestown. Um, I don't know. Nexium might be interesting. But that would be short lived, right? Right? We could talk about all the different like layers and connections. Um, like different members over the years, you know, the bad luck. Because there's a lot of bad luck that's happened to the people that we've seen so far that I just covered now that were connected to the Church of Satan. It's like, did these curses work? Who knows? Was it a power of suggestion? Because a lot of things happen due to power of suggestion. You know? Yep. Yes. Yes. There's a lot of books removed, even from the Catholic Church. Oh, I am a brat. Yep. I went back and it was so far out. Yes, never push yourself. And watching the lizard, we're weirdos over here. I like stuff like that too. I love those rabbit holes. I mean, come on. I was talking about giants and Nephilim last week, and I found out even more about them. But I'll circle back to them later. Um, just fascinating different things. Go back as well. I like to say that it makes me uncomfortable as well. Yeah, right. Yes. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to be covering, different things like that. I'll also do some hokey, I'll also do some stuff on protection stones and uh, stuff like that, meditation, chakras. But I'll get into that probably in January. But we got to see what Anton LaVey looks like. Some of us have seen him. And then what his grandson and his son look like, and they all look alike. But maybe it's because of the shaved hair and goatees, but they also have that like tattoo across the chest. Yeah, it would be a cult. In fact, Christianity was considered a cult back when it started for the first 200 to 200 years. Well, I mean, are aliens really aliens, or are they actually angels or demons? Interdimensional, right? They're all interdimensional. We could have that conversation. Meditation and chakras, that's right, blissful. Well, uh, you compared Jesus and disciples to rappers and rap music for your dissertation once. Well, maybe. Yeah, I think they're all as bad as us. But I mean, actually seen one. You actually have to see one, then I'll believe. But I do believe we are not alone. I believe aliens is not exactly what we think they are on TV, but that's another discussion. Yeah, see? I'm thinking that they're interdimensional because demons are interdimensional. Angels can be interdimensional. So that's what your aliens are. Just got to figure out which ones are the demonic and which ones are the angelic. Woohoo! What are they hiding in 51 in Antarctica? Well, we can get into that in another life, right? We can theorize in a, you know, that's a good topic too. We can theorize that. But, and the people that are flat earthers, aye, there's all sorts of things coming out, and it's getting close. The Nazca lines. We could talk about the Nazca lines. You're angelic. I believe you, Marie. But of course, for the bunny shops and stuff, like the Alien Cafe, right? Out out there. That'd be quite a trip for you from Canada, though, wouldn't it? Yes, yes. And we'll just, like I said, we'll get in that. If you want to upset flat earthers, believers, tell them the Earth is a triangle. One of my favorite quotes was, and I had to laugh about it. It was when a flat earther was arguing with somebody about the Earth being flat, and said, "We have," and then they said that other person said, "Well, it's a small portion of people believe that," and they go, "We have chapters around the world," and he goes, "Around the world? Doesn't that kind of wipe out the flat Earth theory then? If your chapters are around the world?" Oh yeah, we can go all the way around. Yes, we definitely need to talk about Antarctica. Definitely. It's okay, blissful, because the topic's over. This is the question and answer time. And then, you know, yeah, it could be square. It could be a Rubik's Cube and keep shifting.
So what?
Toast gets made,
Okay. Yeah, but
but only slightly.
I just wanted to double check that's what you said.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, actually, Marie brings up a lot of good questions.
I need drugs.
Oh, medication.
I need to eat pretty soon. My sugar's getting low.
Okay. Okay, guys, I'm about to wrap this up. So, oh, that's cool. Love to hear it,
Wrap
Betty.
it up.
Yep.
Or stay on top.
Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and close down for tonight. I got to make dinner. And I will catch you all on the flip side. Okay?